To make a quilter's knot, you hold the needle in one hand and the opposite end of the thread in the other hand. Bring the thread and the needle parallel to each other and hold in your needle hand. Wrap the thread 3 times. You don't want to make the knot too big, so just 3 times, and then push the thread with your fingers and pull the needle through all the way to the end. And there you have the quilter's knot. Now to start your quilting line, the first thing you want to do is bury the knot under the first 2 layers of fabric. And to do that, you insert the needle about ½ an inch away from your quilting line and then bring up the needle directly on your quilting line. Pull the thread through until the knot gets to the top of the fabric. Then you want to pull the thread until the knot gets buried under the first 2 layers of fabric and until you hear a little pop. Let's do a few quilting stitches. I'm going to hold the needle and I'm going to place it parallel to right on top of my quilting line. That's going to help me keep my quilting straight. Then I'm going to put the needle vertically in to my fabric, and underneath my quilt I'm going to feel like this, just gently with my middle finger of my other hand. You can see it here, and right where I want my stitch to be, I'm just going to gently put my needle through my quilt, and just till I feel it with my middle finger, and that's going to help me guide the needle as I rock it around the fabric. Then I'm going to start a gentle rocking motion. I'm going to push the needle back and I'm going to push up with my middle finger and push the needle through with my middle finger, my other middle finger. Then I'm going to rock the needle vertical, feel it with my middle finger underneath, not too hard or it'll hurt. Rock it back and push up the fabric with my left middle finger and push the needle through with my right middle finger. So I've made 2 stitches and I'm going to push the needle all the way through. Let's try that again. I'm going to put my needle parallel to right on top of my quilting line. I'm going to push it through the fabric vertically and I'm going to feel for it underneath with my left hand middle finger. I'm going to use that to push up on the fabric and rock the needle back. Now I'm using my thumb to push the fabric around the needle, and then I'm going to use my right hand middle finger and push the needle through the fabric. And then I'm going to push it down, rock it up, push it vertically back down, feel it with my middle finger underneath, and push it through again. Let's do a couple more. Okay, so I put my needle right on top of my quilting thread. I push vertically down and feel for the needle with the middle finger of my hand that's underneath the quilt. I'm going to push up on the fabric with that middle finger, rock the needle down, and use my thumb to push the fabric around the tip of the needle and push it through with my middle finger of my quilting hand. Then I'm going to rock it up vertically again, push it down, push up with my middle finger that's underneath, use my thumb and my middle finger to push the needle through. I'm going to place my needle right on the quilting line, push it vertically through the quilt, and feel for it with my middle finger that's underneath the quilt. Then I'm going to push up on the fabric with that middle finger and rock the needle down the other way, using my thumb to wrap the fabric around the tip of my needle and my middle finger to push the needle through the fabric. I'm going to use my middle finger again to rotate the needle back vertically, push it down through the fabric, pushing up with my middle finger underneath, again wrapping the fabric with my thumb and pushing with my quilting middle finger, and then push it all the way through. So now that I've gotten to the end of my quilting line, I need to knot the thread and then bury the thread to finish my quilting line. To do that, I'm going to hold the needle in my quilting hand and hold the end of the thread in my other hand. And I'm going to place the needle as close to the quilt as I can and then wrap the thread 3 times around the needle. And then I'm going to take the knot, hold the needle and the knot in my one hand, and start pulling the needle through the knot, just like we did when we were threading our needle. And here we have a quilter's knot about 1/4 of an inch away from our quilt. But now we need to bury that knot. To do that, we're going to take our needle and put it into the fabric the same place where the thread is coming out. And we're going to put it through the top 2 layers of the fabric, not all the way through because you don't want your thread to come through the back. And about 1/2 inch away from your quilting line, you're going to push the needle through. And you keep pulling your thread until you hear a pop. And then you trim the thread right at the top of your quilt.